Prep Test 66, game number 2, ends with question 11. It's a substitution question. They want us to remove the rule that states that at least two businesses must separate the two restaurants, and place a new rule in that creates the exact same results. So, to answer this, we're going to bring up our limited options, and what we need to do is walk through each answer choice and see if we can find a way to arrange the businesses according to that new rule, but still somehow breaking the rules of our original limited options over here. Because if we can break the rules over here and stay within the rules over here, we have figured out that the two are not equivalent to each other, and that is not the correct answer. So we'll start off with answer choice A. R in 3, 4, or 5. At first this looks kind of promising because R always does fall in 3, 4, or 5. But we could probably break it up here, because what we could do is say P and R to keep our first rule intact. We could say O or V has to go in the second spot to keep this rule intact. So we're going to say, O. We could also then place R in space 5, which is following our rule. Then it's just a matter of plugging everything else in that we need in. So we could put V here, we could put T here, and we could put S here. So you see we've followed this rule by having P and O next to each other. We've followed this rule by separating T and V. We've followed the original rule that stated that P and R have to be on the ends. The only rule we haven't followed is the one about separating it by two businesses. And in its place, we've followed this rule. And that has given us an arrangement that breaks the rules of both our original limited options. Therefore, it is not equivalent. Answer choice B says that R has to be next to O or V. And if you notice, in the setup that we just did, we placed R next to V. So we followed this rule, but we still managed to break the rules of our original limited options. Therefore, this one does not work. What about T or V between the two R's? Well, yet again, we've placed V between our two R's. We followed all the other rules except this original one that we're getting rid of. And we've still managed to break our limited options. So this one doesn't work. What about this one? There have to be less than or equal to two businesses between P and the nearest R. Well, so far we do not have less than or equal to two businesses between P and the nearest R. So let's see if we can break that. So less than or equal to 2 means that we have 0, 1, or 2 in between. So if we have, say, 0 businesses in between the two. So let's say we have R, P. Right off the bat, you can see that there's not going to be any way to put an O or a V next to our P. So that's not going to work. But what if we leave one space in between? So we have ROP at the end there. Okay, so we're still following the rules here. And then we can fill this in with whatever we'd like. We could put V here, we could put T here, and we can put S here. So this works everywhere, but you notice that this also fits one of our limited options right here, okay? So what we're trying to do is follow this rule and still break a limited option. So we're going to take it one step further. Let's put 2 spaces between P and our nearest R. So we'll have space, space, R. And you can probably already see that however we complete this chart, we're still fitting within our second limited option here. So it's looking like it's impossible to follow this rule and break either of our original limited options. So this is looking like a good answer choice. Let's just check E to make sure. So O is not next to S. Well, right off the bat, well, actually, no, we haven't made this one work yet. So let's go up here to this first example that we made up top here, and let's swap our V and our O. If we put a V here and an O here, now what we see is that O is not next to S, T is not next to V, P is next to V, and we have followed all the rules except the original, and it still doesn't fit within a limited option. So this one doesn't work. That means that D is in fact the correct answer to this question.